Once again, good morning and namaste to everyone. We are again having this webinar on the topic classroom management. As you all know, our resource person, Father Lawrence, and it's the continuation of classroom management. We started with the headings, people don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. And then we also ended with the same. Before we start, I would like Father Principal to start with a prayer. Father, to you, Father Samuel.
Thank you, Lakshman sir. Let us be aware of the presence of the Lord, our God, in us and among us. Let us close our eyes for a few seconds. Leave everything that is bothering us. There may be a lot of things that are pending. There may be a lot of tensions because of various reasons. Leave everything aside for some times now. Take a long and deep breath. Experience the freshness of the breath that you take in. God, in His love, in His generosity, in His compassion and mercy, gives us this life through breathing, gives us this life freely so that we may be happy, enjoy the life, not get tense or not get worried. So let's get the worries out of our head for some times and remember that God is always there to help us. And we pray that we may be open to the talks and the ideas, that may we share what we know, try to get more knowledge, and be open and share with each other. We thank God for this beautiful day and the connection that we have, a family of Jesuit staff, of Jesuit family, that may we be always together and work together for the betterment of ourselves, the others, and the whole of the world. We make this prayer through our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father. So before we start, the last part that we came across last time was classroom management is a process. Okay, it is an art teachers are expected to excel into. And then we ended up again with, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. There were a lot of questions in our last webinar. And then there were two questions which was, which I had told that we will continue that question the next webinar. So is it okay, Father, that I come up with this question and then we start? Father Lawrence?
Sure, that will be a good way of, I was thinking of recapping what we saw last time, but this can be the beginning of this session. Surely.
Okay. One question was from our Sir Krishna Maharjan. Can we get presentation of the sessions? So that was what he asked.
I think Mr. Subarna is taping these. Otherwise, I have it in my computer. If it is not taped, it will be good for all the teachers to have a copy.
Oh, yes. Yes, okay. And I think some of the teachers have also done the screenshot so that they get the that way also. And the other question, Father, I'll go to another question.
Yeah.
From Milan, sir. So what he has written was, Patience with student, okay. Appreciation of job well done, okay. But what are the best ways or skills that we develop as teachers as far as delegating tasks are concerned?
Why do we delegate? It is not because we are unable to do it. Delegation is recognizing the other person. Simple things, very simple things. So delegating a part of our simple responsibilities to some students, to the class middle, it is a recognition that we need their cooperation, even though we don't need. There is a book, a small booklet actually, titled Bluffing Your Way Through. That's the name. I don't have a copy of it, so I cannot really share it with you. But then years ago, I read this, Bluffing Your Way Through. Probably it may be available in Amazon or it's a very thin booklet. It talks about certain times you have to behave as if this was written for teachers. You have to behave as if without the student, particular student or a group of students, you cannot run the class. That is not the fact. But then that is the image we are supposed to create. Every student is important. One of the ways to make them feel is delegation of some of our responsibilities. They cannot teach. Incidentally, that is going to be the first point we are going to see today. Not a delegation, how to include students. The students who are weak in their studies, and not weak, but who are not interested in studies, who are not motivated, how to motivate them. One of the first points is include them into the class. And we will see, I will give you 3-4 points, how we can include them, how we can make them feel that they are important for us. Their presence in the classroom matters for the rest of the class. So it is, delegation of power is not, in many schools they do practice this, asking them to teach. But in the school level, 1 to 10, I don't think that is a good idea. But then that can be replaced, the delegation of the teaching part can be replaced in another way. We will talk about brainstorming session. There they can every student, and there are certain rules to follow. We will also see that. So Mr. Miller, it's delegation is not giving a part of your major responsibility, but small things, anything that will show to the students they are important for us, for the class. Okay. Concretely, how we can do it, we will see in this particular section, certainly today. There are different ways how we can do that. Okay.
That is all, Father, the questions from last webinar. You could start with the rest, Father. Father, you are muted. Okay.
So in the last class, last session, as Mr. Lakshman said, caring part, students becoming aware of the fact that we care for them is so important. Only then they will accept us. It's a fact. It's a fact not only in the classroom, even in our daily life. I would like this particular slide again, just because this is very, very practical. If you look at the slide, I think it can be seen. Make ground rules very clear. Rules are not for restriction. Please understand. Brakes are not to control the speed in a car. In a car, brakes are meant to reach the place faster. I am not going to explain that to you. Just to think about it. Brakes in a car are meant to help us to reach the destination faster. In the same way, rules are for smooth running of an institution, an organization. They are not restricting people's freedom. So let us make our ground rules clear in the very beginning. Every subject teacher, because teachers are different, subjects are different. Some teachers expect the students to behave in a particular way. Some other teachers expect them to behave in a little different way. So let us make these rules clear to them. In my class, this is what you are going to do. This you are allowed, this is you are not allowed, but in a very nice way. Make an agreement with them in the first period itself. That's what I want to begin the session with. Please be aware of the reality. The way we were taught is the way we are going to teach. This is a very common practice. If we are not aware of this fact, we will go back how we were taught in our school in that small village in the mountains, where there weren't even enough classrooms. That is what will come to our mind. Time has changed. Technology has changed. Students have changed. So let us always keep this in mind, that we will teach the way we were taught, and we are not expected to teach the way we were taught, the way I was taught 50 years ago, 60 years ago in the school. Okay. School management, classroom management is nothing but student management. How the students are managed inside the classroom, inside the school. Because students make the school, students make the class. There are basically two types of students who really take life out of us. It is everywhere. It's not just restricted to Godavari, St. Xavier's. It is all over the world. There are students who are not at all motivated, but they are there. Leave the school, they don't want to leave the school. Their whole understanding of life and the education and the school is different. And there is the other type of students, whatever you do, they will not. They will, by their actions, they will show, okay, let us see what you will do, what you can do. Constantly disrupting the class, constantly. These are the two major types of students that we see in schools. We will certainly try to complete the first set, how to motivate the reluctant learners. All of us have some students who are really motivated in every class 1 onwards. They are highly motivated and we like them because they learn more, they learn faster, they create fewer discipline problems, and our job becomes enjoyable. We make our lesson plan, come to the class and start teaching, and everything goes as planned. And that can be the perfect day for us. At the same time, there are some students in every class who don't learn, who don't allow others to learn. Teachers feel helpless and frustrated in every group, including if you take our staff, for example. In every group, there are 3 groups of people. I think I have said this once before. There is a small percentage that is known as go-go's. Anything you say, even before you did, they are ready to do. They will volunteer. They know the mind of the teacher or the principal, and they will do it. Always ready for anything. There is another group, fence sitters, who are known as so-sos. If you convince them, they will do it. If you don't convince them, they don't do it. They are just sitting on the fence, waiting to get convinced to do anything. So-sos. And that is the majority of the group. About 90% of our student body in every class are fence sitters, so-sos. There is another group, about 5%, called no-nos. You can take a crowbar and push them to do things they won't do. Only thing they know is to say no, a no. Unfortunately, this small percentage of our students eat up our life in the classroom. Constantly we think about them, constantly we worry about them, constantly we get angry with them. Even when they don't do anything wrong, we get upset. When somebody else does something, we are sure it is one of these few students. Let us keep that in mind. It is a reality. It is a reality. We want them to come to the main fold. Why there are some students who are not motivated? And last academic year, that was our motto. Aviprerit Garno. And that is not, if you don't pay attention, that is not easy. Because motivation is an emotional force. It is an attitude that makes someone to do things or not to do things. In some schools, I know, I have seen in class 3, if they answer the questions, they will get a small sticker on their cheek. And it looks so odd. Schools, teachers spend their own money giving them chocolates when they answer the questions. In the olden times, it used to be stamps, for example. These are all external incentives. It cannot be, this motivation cannot be pumped in from outside through these external incentives, like rewards. You do something, you get something. No, that is not the way, and we cannot keep that up. You cannot give a sticker or a chocolate for a class 12 student. You'll say, who the hell wants this? They won't even take it. Persuasion and force do not work to get somebody motivated. Persuasion speaks from outside through logic and reasoning, leaving the emotions largely untouched. They are not, it does not touch their heart, it touches their mind, and mind says, so what? If I don't want to do, I don't do. What can the school do? What can the teacher do? Force, when you punish them for not doing something, not studying, not doing the homework, leads to resentment. Resentment is a negative attitude towards the teacher and the task rather than a positive one. So neither force nor persuasion can really make a student do things, study well, show interest in the subject. So how can we get them do things without this logical persuasion, force, and external incentives? Because motivation has to come from within. Inside each one of us, there is a very powerful aspect, determiner of attitudes and behavior. And we call that self-image. As we imagine ourselves to be, that is how we are going to become. You know, the world knows, most of the scientists down the centuries are Jews. Most of the scientists in the world, including Karl Marx. So many of them. Why? Many people believe it is their self-opinion. They believe they are a special group. It is in the Bible. For last 2,000 years, even more, last 3,500 years, they have been believing that they were chosen by God, a special group. So God is with them and they can do anything. And they have proved it. They think who they are, so they become what they think they are. And the attitude is very important for us. That self-image, that we are special, that we can do these things, I can do these things, is so important in human life. Whether they are children or they are 80-year-old people, it's the same. Once they know that, oh, I am too old to do this, they become too old to do anything. As we imagine ourselves to be, so we become. So self-image, the idea that we have who we really are, is fairly stable. It does not change automatically or drastically. but they shape their image. This self-image can be shaped from the reflection they see in other people, in significant other people whom they respect, whom they want to become. That can be a great changer of self-image. As powerful and significant people in our students' school world will play a central role in shaping their belief about themselves as learners. That is why our behavior inside the classroom, however formal that has to be, it is so important, because they are going to look at us, they are going to decide, should I become like this teacher? For them, most of the significant people in their life are inside the school compound, not outside. Not in the family, most of the cases, because the parents are strict. Parents teach them how to behave by force. Sometimes the grandparents become their models, whom they want to become, because by the time the grandparents become old, these students come to school, then how they are, they want to imitate. It is these people, the teachers, and a few people outside their school life become the important people who help them to change their self-image. What can we do? How do we shape? How do we help the students to get motivated? How do we help them to change their self-image so that they really get motivated? The number one, the first thing that we should do is make the student feel included. The students who are really good in behavior, the students who are really good in studies, do not need a lot of our attention, because they have learned it from home. Their parents have taken the responsibility of making their children do well in studies and behavior. But there are a lot of students who are not of that type. How can we motivate them? So let us make the student feel included. This means, how can we make the student feel that he or she is a part of the class, part of the school? Number one, certainly very easy, all these four things very easy to do for every teacher. Greet the students every day. Smile at them. Make eye contact. They are children. Even class 12 student is just 7, 8 years older than, younger than you are. Still smile at them. They are not going to harm you because you are a beautiful lady teacher teaching them. It's very important for us to create an environment where the students really feel wanted in the school, in the classroom. Make eye contact. Eye contact is a very, very powerful tool. It's not only to teach, in life. Eye contact is so important if you want to impress people. You are going for an interview. If you don't look at the interviewer, you are not going to be selected. Eye contact is so important. If somebody does not look at you when they talk, very often they are telling a lie. They are told, look at me and say whether this is true or not. We say it in English. So let us greet them, let us create an environment in the morning itself every day that the students are wanted in the school, in your class. When the students greet you as you enter the classroom, please greet back. Even if they don't greet, you greet them. Be the change you want to see in the world. You be the change. You be the one who greets them. That is how they learn. Another way is learn the students' names, use them in the class. Call out the name and ask the question. Don't ever say, number 10, answer this. Number 50, answer this. I know this school is known for that, known for calling out numbers. I don't know now, but certainly when I was here as a young Jesuit, there were priests who would say, oh, so-and-so. They would know the name, but yeah, he was 183. That was the number. Mr. Lakshman would remember it. Don't do that, please. Call out the student's name and ask them the question. Use their names as frequently as possible. It makes them, number one, you have the control over. You know, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, there is no name for God. The Jews, those who wrote that, refused to give a name. Only because if somebody knows your name, that person has control over you. Even today, it is a fact. So if I call out if you call out your name, you respond to it. What does it show? I have control over it. I have made you to turn towards me because I called out your name. People like to hear their own names. You just to check. When people call out your name when you are outside, you feel good. When you call out this particular student's name in the class, he feels good because he feels that he or she is recognized. That recognition students need. They are not mere numbers. They are human beings with a name. So let us do that. I know there are some people at certain stage, it is very, very difficult to know the names. They lose that energy, that power to remember the names. Some people go through their whole life really not knowing. They know the face, but then they don't know the names. The third way, how we can make the students feel included, all take part in activities. Not those who are, the common mistake we make is those who are good in something, we give it to them. School is meant for students who want to learn, not who already know. So let us, as far as possible, okay, one activity cannot have all the 42 students, understandable. But the second activity can have more of them. Third activity can have the remaining of them. But all the students should take part in activities. You have to make sure of that. In the class, to make them feel at home, please train yourself to ask no wrong answer questions. Let me explain. Because it is so simple asking somebody no wrong answer. Whatever answer they give is correct. There are questions. Anything to do with your opinion, cannot be wrong. If somebody asks me, Father Lawrence, what do you think about, let us say, no plastic, school being the no plastic zone? Either I take the school side or I take a position against the school side. I am still right, because that is my opinion. Any question that you ask, what do you think about this? What do you think about Jang Bahadur Rana? What do you think about Second World War? What do you think about Bhimsen Thapa? Is always correct answer. This is no wrong answer questions. This will make the students, okay, how do we grade the students? We grade the students not as instructional indicator. It is an administrative indicator. Because we have to grade the students, we do it. That is an administrative part. Not because he knows only this much. That is not a fact. We will see that little later, how that is so important when it comes to evaluation of students. How teachers unconsciously misuse the grades into instructional purposes. Okay, these are 4 ways where we can really make the students feel at home with us in our class. And we have to help them to feel at home. The second point is, let us take the trouble of spending time talking to them and listening to students. This is not, I am not talking about outside the classroom. This is inside the class I am talking about. Use public interview technique. What is public interview technique? Sometimes interview the students in front of the whole class. And the student will be a volunteer. It is not forced on them. And he has the right to say pass on any specific questions. For example, how do you feel being the youngest or the eldest in your family? First of all, it is not a right or wrong answer question. And the second thing is, he has the right to say pass, I don't want to talk about my family. And the third thing is, the student has a chance to be recognized in the class. Public interview once in a while builds the class unity. If the student does not want to say it, the student just says, pass, I don't want to answer. I don't want to take part in this. Schedule a daily announcement period. In the beginning of the class, especially class teacher, first 2-3 minutes, can we ask the student, okay, is there any announcement to make to the whole class? So there may be 2 students in the class. One of them might get up and say, today there is a tournament in Tundikale, and from here both of us have been selected in the team, so we will be leaving at such and such time. It is nothing to do with that subject, but it makes the whole class to become aware of something that's happening to 2 of their companions. And that is important for us. Announcement period. In St. Xavier's Javalikil, they used to have a Thursday meeting. It's known as Thursday meeting. Every Thursday, all the teachers It was a voluntary basis. Those who wanted can come to the staff room, and there will be just sharing what is going on in their class. That there is nothing, it is just an information sharing, which built up the unity among the staff. Sometimes this also had the effect that when somebody would say something, there is this art competition, our students are taking part. The art teacher got up and he said, I would like to meet with these boys. You know, that is how we build up a community around our school. Students, teachers, administration, parents, and friends of the school, we are a community. So announcement time, the period is not a whole period, it's just the period of time. First 3 minutes. Even if there and every day there is not going to be announcement from the students. But if the class teacher can ask, okay, is there any announcement for the school? Or she can also, the class teacher also can ask the class bureau to repeat what was said in the assembly, just for the sake of getting into the minds of the students. This is what principal said in the assembly. This is what vice principal said in the assembly. Okay, just 2-3 minutes. They need not to elaborate. They can just make an announcement. And the third way is comment cards for personal sharing once a week. What are these comment cards? Once a week, pass out a piece of paper to each student. And this again, any teacher can do, but mostly class teachers can make use of this very well. Allow them 10 minutes of class time to write a comment about a particular issue. And the issue can be something like this. What I liked or disliked about this particular topic in this particular subject. Or the hardest topic in this cycle or in this month was this. Collect the papers after 10 minutes or even 5 minutes is more than enough. Then read randomly some of them to the class. Make sure all the cards are read before the next week comment card session. If you really think about these three, this has nothing to do with subjects. This has nothing to do with the topic that you are going to teach. This is one way of getting the students involved in your class. And that involvement is necessary. And the third point is we help them develop positive expectations. We cannot talk about and should not talk about the past poor performance of our students. They should think about the future. They should think about how they can do better. And it is our responsibility to help them in that. It is important for us. It is important. We cannot keep on pointing out to the students, oh, this is what you did. That in no way that helps us. Instead of that, what can we do? Handwriting. These days, handwriting, we don't pay much attention. Okay. So handwriting is what they learn at home, and sometimes the beginning of the academic year when they join the school, how they learn to write in class 1, 2, 3, and that's what is going to remain. Instead of writing, this paper is sloppy. Can we write the comment in the copybook? Next time, please make sure it is neat and clean. Just if you look at these two sentences, this paper is sloppy. Very poor handwriting. Talks about something that has happened in the past. But if you write the comment instead of this paper is sloppy, if you write the comment, next time, please make sure your work is neat and clean. It takes the student to the future, and that's what we should do. Instead of writing, you didn't put much effort into this assignment, did you? These are comments that have come up from the copybooks. If we can write, next time I expect you to spend at least 30 minutes for such an assignment. Spend some time, but next time. But what they understand by reading this time it was not good enough. They understand. Instead of writing, you should have checked your answers. Can we write in a positive way? Next time, please check each answer before submitting it to me. So let us not look at the past, how they did it. Let us be a source of encouragement in the class. These things look so simple. If we don't pay attention, we become the slaves of our own attitudes. We become the slaves of our own habit. Normally, we at home, even if we have no children, we are still very young, and we look at the young brothers and sisters and we scold them, hey, this is what you did. That habit comes into the class as teachers, finding out the past non-performance or poor performance. Let us encourage them to do well in the future, because we cannot do anything about what has already happened. Any questions so far? Okay, so what I have tried to do is picking up a point and giving concretely what we can use in the lives of students. The fourth point is capitalize on what the student knows. This is very important for us. All the basic things in life they learn before they come to school. How to walk, how to talk. May not be the polished way, but then they know to talk. You don't teach them in the class. You don't teach them how to walk, how to eat. These things, the most basic things they know. Then only they come to school. Because the teacher knows much more than the student on a particular topic, it is very easy for students to see themselves as being ignorant. It is in their mind. They think, oh, I don't know anything. That is not the fact. They don't remember the things they know. Especially when it comes to slow learners and reluctant learners, this has a tremendous impact on them. To look at the teachers as the masters, they know everything, and the students, they don't know anything. What can we do in this environment? Ask the class what they know about a new topic. This must be a must behavior. Teachers should ask. In general, I know many teachers do, many places. If you are going to talk about a particular topic, it is the same for class 1 as well as class 12. Ask them, this is what we are going to see today. What do you people know? Who can say what he or she knows about this topic? Ask different students. It may not the whole period, just 5 minutes, 4 or 5 students. It makes a tremendous impact on students. Sometimes it motivates some students to read before who have just to read that particular chapter even before it was taught, they will put up the hand to answer because they have prepared. And we want that. We want to encourage answers from the students. And we don't evaluate them. Sometimes what they know is not correct. But do not correct them when they say. We just ask them, okay, what do you know? This is what the person knows. That is not for evaluation. Evaluation would be done at the time of the exam, but not when you open up the class for a particular topic. When you ask what do you know, and they are going to tell you what they know. There's no right or wrong in that. Elicit their personal experiences. Find a way to connect life experience. I know you might think, Father, all the things they learn may not have life experience. But there are things can be elicited from their personal experience. That depends on the topic you are teaching. Some topics there can be, some topics there cannot be. So what do we do if there is no personal experience? For example, comma. You are teaching grammar. You are teaching when to use the commas. Okay, which is a very, very difficult topic. What do you do? Ask the students to open the book and they find sentences and they can count where there are 10 commas in one of any book they can take. Discuss on those, why the comma is there. In the same way, if you are teaching heat, they may not really understand what you are teaching, but this you can do to teach the thermal expansion. Can they close their eyes and visualize themselves as an atom floating in that heat? how they grow more active as the heat becomes warmer and warmer. These are some of the ways. Let us not forget, the greatest scientist of the 20th century never worked in a lab, Einstein. His was what we talk here, closing the eyes and thinking about a particular experiment. He called it thought process. He just sat in his room and closed his eyes and he imagined. That's how he did. So it is not something useless. Great things can be achieved by this thought process. Let us teach our students. Let us take a 10-minute break and come back.
Yes, Father.
It's 11.
Yes, Father.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
So we saw that we should make sure the student feels included, and we should spend time talking to them and listening to them, and we should help the students develop positive self-expectations, and we should capitalize on what the student already knows. And the next point, what we can do is set the stage for success. You know, all of us, we have heard, we know, nothing succeeds like success. It's a very common old saying. What can we do to make the student feel that he or she can succeed? This does not mean lowering the standard. You know, when some teachers are questioned, hey, in your subject, the first term exam, there are 20 failures out of 40. That is 50% failures. And the principal is really hard on him or her, the teacher. So some teachers, they prepare the questions in such a way for the next exam. Most of them pass. That is not right. So we are not, I am not suggesting we have to lower the standard. There are two ways of looking at any work. One way is to ferret out the weaknesses, what makes the work wrong or bad. And the other way is highlighting the strengths. Let me give you a concrete example, which I am sure some of you will disagree. Father Samuel may disagree with me, but just look at this, whether this has some worth or not, some value or not. You are an English teacher, let us say, and you are asking the spelling of separate. So the student writes S-E-P-E-R-A-T-E. Normally, we will make it wrong. Normally. But if you really think, how can I encourage this student? Even though the answer is wrong, how can I encourage him? Can we write next to this word, almost perfect? It's not perfect, it's not correct, almost correct. Because there is just one letter mistake. You are a math teacher and you are giving a theory and asking them to prove the theory. And the proof has, let us say, 8 steps. 5th step, the student makes it wrong. As a result, 6th, 7th, 8th becomes wrong. Can you, rather than putting a big X mark over that in red ink, can you say this much is correct? It needs some concern. It needs some interest from the teacher's side to help the student. Oh, this much is correct. Let us not give a chance for the students to come to you.
Yes, sir. Could be good on your own customer.
Suvarna sir, did we lose Father Lawrence?
Yes, sir. I'll call him.
Okay. Maybe the electricity? No, it's there, Father Roberts.
Father is not here.
It must have happened. Yeah. Let's wait for some time. Maybe.
Father Robbins, we can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
No, Lakshman sir, you have to unmute Father.
I have to unmute Father Robbins?
Yes, sir.
I mean, how could? All right. Uh-oh.
Yeah. You just click unmute for Father. Okay.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
I think he's on the there's right.
Okay.
We the city. I think has he called somebody in your office?
I called him. I think Father is online now. Again, just now I saw him online.
Maybe the laptop problem.
I'll check upstairs.
No, Father is online, Father now.
Okay.
I'm sorry, something went wrong with the computer. I'm sorry about that. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
Okay. So can we recognize the right part of their answers? This is not the traditional way. This is not, and our school is not a normal school. Can we come up with a system where a part of right answer is recognized? It is important if we are looking at the students' welfare, if we want to really encourage them. Okay, I have given 4 different things that we can do. I already talked about no wrong answer questions. Questions of personal values and opinions is always correct. You can always, in any topic, any subject, you can ask these things. I am not asking this, every question should be like this. That is not what I am saying. But there must be some questions that where the students' value, students' opinion on a particular topic can come in, where his ideas are recognized. Another way where we can really create the stage for success for students is, don't tell the students the task is easy. This is a very, very common thing. Oh, this is a very easy subject. This is very easy. We are going to do this easy. But the student doesn't know the answer. What happens when there is this situation? When you say this is a very easy question, it creates a no-win situation for the student. If he answers it correctly, oh, this is an easy question. That's what comes to his mind. If he does not answer, the student starts thinking, oh God, I didn't even know a simple answer to a simple question. It is a no-win situation when you say this is a very easy topic. But we don't think of these things, how psychologically students get affected. So let us not tell the students before we start or when we ask a question, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. For you, after all the studies, bachelor's, master's, and teaching for so many years, it is very easy. For the students, some of them may be hearing the topic for the first time. They might have seen this, they might have heard this, but they have never learned. So let us not create a no-win situation for the students. Another way where we can create a chance for success for students is allow them to practice without fear of failures. Please do not give marks, grades for practice assignment, for what is not necessary, homeworks. In some places, they don't even grade exam papers. They go through it, they give comments for each answer, right or wrong, how much it is right, what are the main points missing in the answer. They give just comments. But separately on a piece of paper, they give the marks. It is just to think about it. This may be too much work for teachers and the administration, but just to think about this. Nobody knows, no questionnaire can really bring out how much a student knows a particular topic you have taught. The way we have the exams is not the best way to evaluate a student, but that is the only way we have. Either they write it or they do it in a practical. There is no other way. But then our system demands that they have to be evaluated before promoting to the next stage, next class. In this very unfair, unjust system, we are caught up. There is no other way. There is no other way. So can we restrict grading, giving grades, giving marks for anything that is not necessary? Rather than evaluating them, let us encourage them. When some schools had no exams, no grades, no marks at the end of first term, second term, third term, the parents were very angry. Even the teachers were angry. How are we going to promote them? You know, 6-year-old Puchis, How on earth are you going to say he can go to class 2 or not? Learning, coming to school, learning, interacting with the teachers has to be a pleasant experience for students. I am not talking about picnics. I am talking about learning in the classroom. It has to be a pleasant experience. The teachers have to create an environment inside the classroom. They are not there as judges to evaluate them, how much they know. That's the last thing that they should communicate. They are there as their guides by their side. Help them learn. Learning is fun. Can we really build up a classroom environment where students, even on holidays, want to come to school? Can we create an image, oh, it is fun, real fun to be with this teacher, with that teacher? We learn so much what is not in the textbook. Can we create that environment? Grading the students' knowledge is a kind of very, very unjust practice, but that is what the whole world is doing. Another way where we can really make the student feel at home with us, leading them towards success, is if a task is boring or difficult, set time limit. Don't allow them to keep on spending half an hour, the whole period, on something which they cannot work on fully. Tell them, okay, next 15 minutes we are going to work on this. After 15 minutes, you know for sure they are not going to, majority of the class is not going to succeed. So you explain to them again a second time, a third time. Because there are, as you come up, there are some topics very difficult even to teach. Simple words, the complicated matter, whatever the topic, very complicated, but can the teacher put that technology, rocket technology, in simple terms? Or are we repeating the same phrases that are in the textbook? Textbooks are not very often very explanatory. They do not explain. They give facts, that's it. It is we, teachers, who are supposed to take those facts, put it in simple terms so that it will get into the copy of the students. Okay, does this make any sense? How we can help the students to really succeed? They should succeed. They should have, it's not only for, even for us, teachers, new teachers, old teachers, doesn't make any difference. We constantly have to get that aha moment in our life. We should have that satisfaction. Yes, my boys did very well. Oh, my girls did very well. We have to get that feeling once in a while at least. And that can be a tremendous encouraging factor in our life as teachers. And it is true in the lives of the students. They have to get that. Oh, I can do this. Once they get that feeling, it is very easy to hook them into doing more difficult things. They will do it. That has been the experience. And let us create that kind of environment for our students in our classes. I have mentioned about this use of brainstorming to develop topics, ideas, answers in the classroom. Brainstorming is a wonderful, not only time pass activity, it is a wonderful time pass activity. If you are a substitute teacher and you don't know what to do with the class, you can just pick up a topic. Okay, let us see how to create this. Come up with some strange ideas. In one school, students were told the school was using wooden desks and chairs. And that school, every year, at the end of the year, will assign about 10 workers with sandpapers. They had to clean the top of the desks because there will be pictures, there will be writings like I love you, heart, arrow piercing through a heart picture, all kinds of things students will write. So that had to be cleaned for next academic year. So one day the principal said, next year we are not going to provide you with the desks for the high school because boys and girls, this is what you have been doing. So we have decided not to provide you with the desks and chairs. You have to bring your own desk. You have to bring your own desks, chairs. What would you do? That was the topic for brainstorming session. You would be stunned to hear the replies. Students started saying, okay, we will hire a room just across the school, put the desks and benches every day. So we will bring it to the classroom and put it back at night. All the way up to, my father is a chemical engineer. We will ask him, I will ask him to come up with a system of like air pillows, like air balloons. You blow up the air, it becomes stiff. At the top of the desk, it will be made in a particular topic. When the air is inside fully, it becomes very stiff, easy to write on, to keep the copybooks and write, which they would have never thought of before. Brainstorming is a great way of making the students to think. But you should know, if you're going for brainstorming, the classical example for brainstorming, which has been a great success in the world, is how the cone ice cream came to be. So there was Rome is a very, very hot place. Italy is a very hot place in the summer. Rome city especially. So they have lot of ice cream parlors, varieties of ice creams. And it is so hot. In India, they would say only the British and the dogs are seen on the road of Rome in the summer. It is so hot, Rome. So these people would come to eat ice cream, and they would have the ice cream on a plate, quarter plate, and a spoon, steel spoon. So one day, this particular ice cream parlor got tired of serving and washing the plates, washing the spoons, serving again, because there were so many people in such a small ice cream parlor. So the manager called all the workers and asked them, okay, what can we do? How can we solve this problem? So they went into lining up the customers, lining up the ice cream, what we normally do in a big factory, division of labor, all kinds of things they came up with. But the manager was not happy. There was nothing concretely coming out to solve this problem. So one of the workers said, after getting bored up with the whole exercise, one of the workers said, what the hell, why can't we ask them to eat their plates and get out, so that they will not need to wash the plates? Everyone laughed, but the manager went back home and he was thinking how to make the people eat their plates. As a result, we have the cone for the ice cream. So they take the ice cream in the cone. Cone is the size, only the size, but the plate, they can take the ice cream in the plate and they can get out of the parlor so that other people can come in. They can be served fast. That is a typical classical example of the success of brainstorming session. But we have to follow certain rules. we cannot just do anything. There are certain rules to be followed to be successful in brainstorming session. You have to tell them all ideas are welcome, no matter how wild and unrealistic, like eating the plates. This is important for us. Otherwise, if you put restrictions, ideas won't come. There is nothing like wild ideas. Some of you would have seen when you were young, the Star movies came, Star Wars came for the first time, sometime in the middle 80s. Now the men would walk, the door will open like magic. For us, it was magic. We were all children. And no, this was much later, yeah. So within a few years, the Star Wars came, I think, in the middle 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Within a few years, almost every airport, including Kathmandu Airport, which is considered one of the 10 worst airports in the world, even here, you walk in front of the door opens like magic. There is nothing like wild, unrealistic ideas. Wild ideas, impossible ideas can become a reality. Can we make our students believe this? This is possible. This is possible. As you walk in the rain, it is possible. You need not to get wet. We have not come up with the technology yet. Rain will fall 1 feet away from your body. Rain will fall, but we will keep ourselves dry. Can we make our students think in this light? There is nothing that is really wild, unrealistic, impossible to create. So let us accept all ideas. That is the first rule if you are going to use brainstorming. In brainstorming, we work for quantity, number of ideas. The more, the better. Because after certain number only, wild ideas would come. Like at the end of that, the man said, out of frustration, he said, why the hell don't we ask this people to eat their plates? The more, the better. Encourage far out and wild ideas. It depends on the facilitator, depends on the teacher, how we could make the students think, especially in the middle school. Record all the ideas, your own and others. That is what is going to give you the success in the brainstorming session. For example, can we, okay, that is for something new. In the classroom, what can we do? Can we ask the students all the words before you start electricity, all the words you associate with the electricity? A simple thing. Depending on the grades, can we ask them? Let them think, okay, at home, what do we say? Even if they say it in Nepali, that is fine. Because mind does not know language. It knows the ideas. So can we ask them, for example, all the words associated with electricity, because you are going to teach electricity. What are the different ways? This classroom where they are sitting, you don't have a tape, measuring tape. How can we measure it? Students will come up with ideas. One day we had a picnic, staff picnic in the ashram, Godavari ashram. And there was a game for the staff. They were not given anything, but then they were told, with your clothes or anything, or your bags, who would make the longest string, longest thing, anything it can be made up of. Longest rope like they had to make. I tell you, some of the teachers had no hesitation to remove their shirts to make their line longer. A wild idea. One teacher even removed her sari to put it, that group was the winner. There are different ways students will come up with how to measure a room, classroom. Taking steps, or just purely mathematically imagining, okay, this is 1/4, or they think like that. They will come up with the different ideas. Ask them how, if you're an English teacher, if Shakespeare comes, suddenly appears because you are a Shakespeare fan, what are the questions you would like to ask Shakespeare? You know, it will make them think, what should I ask? Things you would like to know about United Nations. From those questions, you would know the student, how much the student knows about United Nations, what kind of opinion he or she has towards United Nations, because it is in the subject, it's in the history book, social studies book of class 7, 8, 9, 10, all the classes, high school it has. Okay, these are some of the things that we can make use of brainstorming to get the students involved, to really get them, okay, this can be done in the class. And the students will cooperate, I can tell you. They will cooperate. They will make it, and it is not a waste of time. Another way to get these lazy students involved in the classroom activity. Demonstrate enthusiasm for the topic under study, even though if you don't like that topic. Just, we are all salesmen, salespeople, all the teachers. We want to sell the product of our subject. The product is our subject. If I am teaching Pythagorean theorem, how can I make the students believe that this is good for them? No, there was this man, I can't remember his name now, a Japanese who started Panasonic company immediately after the Second World War. So he called all the employees. It was a very small company. And he told them, in those days, not like now, the advertisement in the TV, advertisement in the LED boards, nothing like that. People have to go, salespeople will go to house to sell things. And he tells them, when you visit a family, you tell them, they are going to ask you, what do you make? You tell them, we make people. Then they will explain, we make good people through these things. We make people happy with these things. We make people better with these things. We make people out of our students with our mathematics, with our particular topic in math, a particular topic in history, particular topic in English, particular topic in science. We make people out of our students. We have to be interested. We are salespeople, no question about that. Please don't be carried away when somebody tells you, whom you respect, we are not babysitters. We are babysitters. That is our vocation. That is our job. For that, we are a part of St. Xavier's. We have to demonstrate enthusiasm. Whatever the topic, whether we like it or not, it is there because that is the only control government has. Government tells us what we should teach. It does not tell you how we should teach. Thank God. It tells us what we should teach. So we are bound to teach those topics. Some of the topics we are not interested in. But then we have to sell that. We have to give that particular topic. We have to make the students understand and accept it. That is our job. Okay, how can we show enthusiasm? You might wonder, how can I be enthusiastic every day for 220 days a year? That's the number of days government le tokeko. How can I be enthusiastic? Once again, we have to bluff our way through. We may not be really enthusiastic, but the students should get the feeling that we are enthusiastic. We cannot afford not to be enthusiastic. Our health and happiness depend on this. Very often, unhappy teachers get sick. It's a fact. Unenthusiastic, okay, they are done for your school, you put down for you. Such people get really sick because they don't enjoy their life. They don't enjoy their teaching. They don't enjoy the company of those 40, 42, 45 students. And the 40 minutes they're supposed to spend in the class becomes a pain for them. They are the first ones to leave the class. Such people, health is affected. Not only mental health, even physical health at certain stage. We cannot afford not to be enthusiastic about the topic that we teach. how can we show enthusiasm? These are some of the things that I have heard, I have seen. Listen to yourself when you teach. Do I use the word, the phrase, you know? We use it so often, so frequently. Then in the middle of the sentence, instead of saying that, sometimes even after saying that, we use key. He said the key. It is so common, so common. The word key, Nepali key or Hindi key comes into your teaching English, etc. We use. These things just show that you are not really interested in the topic, interested in the person with whom you are talking. Watch yourself as you teach. Your body language, the gestures you make, the eye contacts you create in the class. These are all indications of whether you are interested in the topic, you are interested in the students or not. When there is a topic you are not interested in, but then you have to teach and you will teach, to be little more successful in your teaching, can you spend time, look at the non-interesting topic or non-interesting part of that particular topic? If you study them more thoroughly, you get interested. Very often, we are not interested in a particular topic because we don't know it. And this is a fact. Not all the topics, but most of the topics we don't know. Our knowledge is not thorough, even though it is a topic for class 8. Even after my master's, I don't know this. As a result, I don't. So I just want to read it and finish the lesson, which comes out in an unenthusiastic way. So can we spend some time whenever there is a boring topic, spend more time preparing so that I know the topic, which would give me enthusiasm. Sometimes the whole class is boring. There is a general moody, very negative environment in the classroom. It happens. In general, either because of the weather or something happened in the school, or just the day is not good. No, there are different reasons why we individuals do not feel. Once I talked about biorhythm, for example. It is a fact. There is a period, sometimes, students as a group, they don't feel enthusiastic in the class. And you, after becoming aware of this, your mood goes really low. In such occasions, can you take a smile break? It is these days, last few years, there are clubs, even in Nepal. In Lalitpur, there are clubs called Laughing Club. Their whole thing is, if you don't know, if you are passing by, you will say, what happened to these people? Are they all mad? Because they would loudly laugh. Keep on laughing. I am not asking you to start a laughing club in your class. All I am asking is take a smile break. Ask them. Hey, just a smile. Let us stand up and smile at each other. It's a very good technique. Smile break. Take a time out. Stretch break. Tell them a joke. Give them a quiz. Okay. Just in the middle of the class, when you know it is not going anywhere, they are all feeling bored, just to tell them, okay, close your books. Pay attention to this. What is the angle between the two hands in a clock when it is 3:15? A simple question. At 3:15, there is the big hand, there is the small hand in a clock. When it is 3:15, what is the angle between those two hands? All of them just wake up. The whole class wakes up. Okay, they may take all kinds of calculations, but some of them may come suddenly with the answer, 87.5 degrees. Can we have some of these things? A collection in our lesson plan book, which would kind of trigger their interest in the class. All of us should have something as a tonic to revive instant division of the class. Some jokes, some puzzles. Okay, these are some of the ways we can really make the students believe that you are interested in the topic that you are teaching. You want to really help them, you are with them, and the topic is worth learning. Another way to get these unmotivated students into the group is using encouraging and positive response to the students' work. So to them, somehow we have to convince the students what they are doing is right. There's nothing, it may be a mistake, but still even in that mistake, there is something correct. I said early in the spelling, you have got all the consonants right, but the vowels are misplaced. Our vowels are missing. The student gets the message, but he or she has not correct. Rather than writing negative comments, can we encourage something which would make them think? Encourage positive self-evaluation. Ask the students what he thinks is the best part of the composition. He or she has written an essay. Okay, in the 3-page essay, tell me what is most interesting to you. Then find some comments to reinforce those positive feelings. Please remember, I said it before the break, the grades are an administrative device. They are not specific enough to have an instructional use. We are forced to evaluate how much a student knows because of the system that we find ourselves in. Otherwise, grades is for administrative purposes, to promote students to the next stage. That's the only purpose. Okay, so it is. We have to find how to encourage them. There is nothing better than encouraging the students. Another way to do that, keep a future orientation in all your comments. Next time, next time, next time must be our comment. Not you did this, you failed, you couldn't even do this, no past tense. Always lead them to the future. Check your comments. Use your best handwriting next time, rather than writing your handwriting is very sloppy. Practice handwriting every day, 5 pages. Encourage every voluntary contribution. You ask for volunteers, students volunteer and do something, please make sure to recognize them in the class, in front of the others. Even what they did was not the best thing to do. They volunteered. This is in our Jesuit education, encouraging students to volunteer, to do something which they are not obligatory to do. That has to be a part of our educational system. I am not talking about recognizing them with gifts. No, that is once again, that is an external incentive which would make them do things only to get the rewards. I am talking about change in their attitude. So it does not take much time or energy from us just to say thank you. Be it in the assembly, be it in the classroom, in front of the others, saying, oh, this group did very much, and call out their names, make them stand, and you tell them as a class teacher, thank you for doing this. It was really good. Always end the class with a positive note. This is so important. Students will remember how you feel, how you dealt with them at the end of the class. How the movie ends in a theater, that is what the people will carry home. Can we make some comments? This is not artificial, I tell you. This is absolutely, this may sound very formal and very artificial. But if you feel these are all artificial, it is because the way we are brought up. You use this for a month consciously, then naturally you would say this, okay, see you tomorrow. It is, and that is what they will remember when you leave the classroom or when they leave the school at the end of the day. There is nothing wrong, or it is not at all difficult to say, have a nice evening at 3:30 when the class gets over. Have a nice evening. If there was really good activity in the class and everyone was happy, openly tell them, students, I enjoyed today's class. That was a great class today. Thank you. Tell them that you were, even something unpleasant happened, even though you had to send 2 kids to the vice principal, even though you had to make 5 students, outstanding students, standing outside the class. But still, at the end of the class, can you tell them, okay, it was a nice class, see you tomorrow. If you don't want to say it was a nice class, just tell them, see you boys and girls tomorrow. That's enough. Let us make it a habit to end the class with a note, with a comment that would make them feel at home with you. Goodbye and thank you with eye contact has a tremendous impact on students. That is for, so if you want to remember the points on this 9 points that I said, it may sound very formal, and even if you want to be little formal, it doesn't hurt us. We should be formal at times. Lasting change in behavior comes through a change in self-image. Please remember that. The way we treat our students will change their self-image. It is the little small things that we say and do that counts. Not all the facilities, the whiteboards and LED TV in the classroom that makes the change, and it is a fact. It is the small things that we say and do that makes all the difference. Create a strong motivational climate in the class. And that has to be done in the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, first 2 weeks, you are going to determine, you are going to create how your class for the rest of the year is going to be. Please believe that your students are competent. Even if they look stupid, they are competent. They can learn. All students can learn. There are 4 principles that every teacher should know. One of the first things, most important thing is the teachers believe that all students can learn. But then for all these, to practice all these things, because it takes time for a change in our students, in their attitudes, in their self-image, we need patience and fortitude. We need patience. We cannot say in the class, that is unacceptable in our Jesuit culture. Repetition is just a part of our educational system. We have to repeat. That is why revision is put in the timetable, in the calendar. We have to revise. We have to repeat. That is just a part of learning in Jesuit schools. Okay, now it's already 12. This topic we can see next time. How to discipline the difficult kids in the class. So these are, there is one point which I have not put, but that is a part of motivating the students, is evaluation. Now, teacher evaluation. That's a very touchy topic, I know. Many teachers have a different opinion on that. So let us, I will just talk about it in the next session a little bit. I will not consider this as a point that we want to practice here. Okay, that much for what are the possible ways we can motivate our students in the classroom. Thank you. Any questions before we wind up?
Shall we move on now to end the program? I would like for Ratna ma'am first to deliver the vote of thanks. Ratna ma'am, to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Honorable Reverend Father Lawrence, Principal Reverend Father Samuel, respected Vice Principal Lakshman Sir, Suvarna Sir, and Sisters Patricia, and my dear colleagues. A very good afternoon and namaste to you all. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks to Honorable Reverend Father Lawrence for conducting the webinar on the topic classroom management at the time of escalating COVID-19. I, on behalf of the entire staff of St. Xavier's School, would like to extend a very hearty vote of thanks. I am confident that all the teachers present here have taken valuable insight on how to conduct a peaceful, fun, and productive learning environment through the classroom management and student management. That is, students when persuasion fails, motivation comes from within. Make the students feel included, be the change, see them in the world, help them develop positive self-expectation and avoid past poor performance and set goals on what the student knows, set the stage for success, use brainstorming sessions, topic and ideas, help reluctant learners to be more creative and think, demonstrate enthusiasm for the topic and the study, use encouraging and positive response to the students' work, and always end the class with a positive note. And discipline, these are the disciplines that is necessary for the students. Now I express a deep sense of appreciation to Reverend Father Lawrence for the time and the effort you have given us. I assure you will not go in vain. We will try our best to reach up to your expectation while conducting our classes using the rules provided by you during this webinar. We sincerely hope more of such enrich are conducted in the near future. Thank you once again, Father, for your vision, for leading us through this difficult time. And finally, thank you one and all for participating in this webinar. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ratna ma'am, for the vote of thanks. If teachers, if you'd like to still ask questions, well, we don't have time now, but you could always come up with the questions, text us so that we can deliver it next time, and then Father can answer those questions. There's also a note from the chat box from Rukmani Sharma, ma'am from Japa. Father, you were so clear in explaining, so there is no any question to ask. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. That is what Rukmani Sharma has written. Thank you, Father. And to now really end it, I would like Father Principal for the last words. Father Principal, to you.
Thank you, Lakshman sir, and thank you, Ratnam ma'am, for your vote of thanks. And yes, we are really happy. Father Lawrence is giving his time and energy and the knowledge and sharing with us for the betterment of ourselves as well as the betterment of the students. So thank you once again, Father Lawrence, and all the teachers present here. Thank you, teachers who have joined from Japa. Every Sunday we have this webinar, so please check your school or the principals for the password and the link. You can always join whenever we have a webinar. So thank you for joining us from Japa area. I like to tell all the teachers there is another webinar for the classroom management today. I think it's at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6, conducted by a resource person, Babu Hari Marasini sir. So if you want to join, and please, I would like you to join and learn about the classroom management more. You can get passport and the ID from Suvarna sir. We will post it in our web Viber messenger. So please check and try to join as many as possible. Once again, thank you. And we will have this webinar, continue this webinar in the coming week and Sunday also. Unless there is another changes, we will let you know. Otherwise, we will continue with Father Lawrence. Now we'll go into the difficult children, how to manage the difficult children in the classroom. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful day. And please do well in your teaching online classes. Any difficulties? We are there. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.